Welcome in this Tuesday edition Oxford Exxon Podcast. It's going to be a struggle. My voice is gone.
You're not gonna make it.
It's rough, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not gonna get there, but we'll get halfway there.
I mean, look, unlike Morgan Wallen, we're showing up. We're giving it a shot. Yeah. We're seeing where we get with this thing. It's a little bit of the irony involved is that yesterday I felt bad and had a voice, and today I feel 100% fine, but I have no voice at all. It is a struggle, and I'm trying to convince myself that you can just turn me up and I can talk a little quieter, but there's a lot of muscle memory to that I'm struggling with. So anyway, Oxford Exxon Podcast, Blue Sky location here locally. Lunch specials, $5.69, 2 sides, any size fountain drink there, as well as ribs. They can take care of dinner tonight, wrap them up, ready to go, wet or dry. They'll take care of you at the Blue Sky. You got the homemade donuts in Clinton. We've been telling you about that for a while. A lot of different flavors, a lot of options there in the Jackson metro area at the Clinton Blue Sky. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote. The rest completely up to you. You can shop it around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford. Again, 662-257-1900. Corey wants to be your car guy, wants to be your truck guy. I'll prove to you what that means when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Guest will join on the myperfectfranchise.net hotline. Are you a displaced corporate executive or wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur wanting to diversify? If so, Andy Ludicky can help. He owns multiple franchises and businesses and uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. Call Andy, put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free, so what do you have to lose? Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net. Contact Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901.
So dovetailing off yesterday, we talked about Chris Marshall, talked about what that loss meant to Ole Miss. A couple hours later, Keon Coleman, the Michigan State transfer portal wide receiver, says he is in Oxford this week. I think today, right? Is that correct?
I'm told.
Apparently so.
I'm told he's coming today.
Okay. So
I have not spoken to him.
His Twitter said he was coming today.
Or his people. But he has said on his social media that he is visiting today.
His camp.
I've not talked to his camp.
You haven't?
I have not. He is.
You have a number for his camp?
I don't.
Okay.
He visited Florida State over the weekend. Seems like he's been someplace else also, maybe Auburn. No, Auburn was involved. A lot of people are involved. So we'll see. I don't know.
From a portal standpoint,
I get the impression that people would rather I not talk to these kids anymore. Apparently, when you ask journalistic questions, get answers, and then write about it in a journalistic way, it is alarming to some of the people involved in the process.
You think that was frowned upon in some way?
I don't think it was, what's the word? I don't think there was the appreciation for the journalism that others had.
Coleman is an interesting
and if
case.
It makes it to finish this part of the point, I didn't even think it was controversial when I asked it, when he answered it, or when I wrote it. At no point did any of the, this is going to bother people, alarm bells go off in my head, which either tells me that I'm right or I'm getting really old and I just don't pay attention. I never thought, this is going to bother people.
It's a little bit of the irony, isn't it, that we have coaches, not just Lane, but across the country going pro sports. But when you actually put any type of transparency on what the contract looks like, it's a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, literally.
It's like, well, hold on a minute.
Literally yesterday, the big story in St. Louis was about Wilson Contreras not going to catch anymore, right? And so all of a sudden, well, he's a DH on a 5-year deal, right? I mean, suddenly the $88 million deal the $88 million is a big part of the story. Did you make a mistake?
Mm-hmm.
Because, you very arrogantly assumed, this is the Cub fan in me, that what the Cubs couldn't teach him to do, which was play the position well as a defender.
Correct.
That the Cardinals could, because the Cardinals do it differently. When in reality, people like me said, no, you guys just have a Hall of Fame, elite, one-of-a-kind defensive catcher who you were fortunate enough to have in your organization for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's gone, and replacing him is going to be difficult. So, but that's the story. You don't write the Wilson Contreras story today without mentioning the fact that the Cubs elected not to keep him, not to even make him a significant offer, and the Cardinals gave him $88 million. So when Keon Coleman signs with whoever, commits to whoever, he's not going to sign anything. When he commits to whoever, I mean, frankly, I think, hey, it's fair to ask, what were your NIL offers? What were your salary offers? I think it's fair. Now, the same people who like to talk about, hey, this is college sports, and we can't do this because we don't have enough money or whatever, get rustled a little bit by people actually talking about it.
I mean, the story around Keon Coleman is it's why this is so dumb. The story around Keon Coleman, I'm seeing Grind here in the stream talk about it, is some schools don't feel like they can hit his number. Whatever that number is, I have no idea.
No clue.
It might be $10 or $10 million. I have no
guess
idea.
It's not 10.
And
nor
not 10
is
million.
it 10 million.
Somewhere between.
Yes.
Yes. Somewhere between those two numbers.
Probably closer to 10 than the 10 million.
Yeah, fair.
But I would bet it's six figures.
But I mean, that is the story. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, the story is how many schools are actually in this because they can either afford or are willing to pay whatever that NIL deal is. And is that the end all be all? And is it simply about that, or is there more to it? And unless Keon Coleman tells us those answers, I have no idea.
Yeah.
No one knows. Because it's what's become, forever it was under the table and this was still the case and it was the black market and all that stuff with college football. It still is in a lot of ways, though, if the kids don't talk about it or we don't know anything about it. Because when you go, oh, so-and-so beat so-and-so for this kid, yeah, but it wasn't going in the living room and sales pitching the mom better than everybody else. It was the entire package. It was the money. It was the playing. It was everything, opportunity that goes in with it. But now it's just so illuminated because everybody's talking about it, but at the same time, everybody refuses to talk about it. It's getting annoying and stupid. It's annoying and stupid if we're being completely honest.
I'm glad you agree with me.
Yeah, I have very little patience this week. I'm just like, this is dumb.
Yeah, I mean, that's me. I mean, I'm fine with it, but what I'm not willing to do, and I guess this is what's going to alienate me ultimately from some people, is I'm not willing to pretend it's not happening. I mean, hey, it felt like home. Okay, cool. You probably liked Tallahassee too, right? I mean, you go to these places, you get wined and dined. They take you into the expensive, beautiful new. I mean, Auburn just opened a brand new facility that apparently, talking to people, is just incredible. Everyone is building these. I'm sure when Ole Miss cuts the ribbon opens on what they've done, it's going to be like, wow, look at that. It's like a palace. Yeah, sure. It's going to come down to the decisions come down to opportunity. What can you do to get me ready for the NFL? What can you do to get me the film, whatever, and then the money. I just don't know why that's hard.
We've come a long way since, what was it, even 10 years ago when LSU put the beds in the lockers and they went, that's going to do it. That's going to be the thing that puts the Tigers over the top is they have the beds in the lockers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're nice, but that's not why the kid's coming.
Clemson's waterfall or whatever it is doesn't do it.
Mm-mm. I mean, I'm sure it's nice.
Sure.
It's a
we have to say we had that phase where it was like locker room MTV Cribs on like whatever you could do to make it a little whatever. But
it's one of the most fascinating parts of, frankly, of NIL and all that stuff now is that, do you really need that stuff?
In general, do you feel like, because they do this, freshmen will report whenever they report, transfers will report whenever they report. And we always, and this isn't just an Ole Miss question, it's a national question. We have the media day where they put them all in the 1810 grill for Ole Miss or wherever. Is that going to become more commonplace nationally to go, hey, what's your NIL situation
Should.
in these rooms?
No, but it should.
You're here now. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
What you got cooking?
What'd you get?
Yeah.
What'd you get? What are you hoping to get?
You doing any commercials? You doing some stuff? Businesses in on it? What's going on?
Well, because on a lot of them, like if you go to their, and again, this is not a criticism. I don't know why this is even controversial. If you go to a lot of their social media, it'll say for business inquiries,
contact either an email or a company.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, it's why Matt Corral put that ridiculous number on his appearances, is that he didn't want to do them. But if somebody was dumb enough to spend it, then okay, great, I'll show up.
Yeah, his deal was like $10,000.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Yeah, to talk. Yeah.
I mean, if you're willing, I'm willing.
Sure. I mean, everybody's got a price.
Oh, sure.
Everybody's got a price.
There is a number. Everybody's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I don't know why it's on one hand very public and on the other hand so secretive. I actually think the transparency is a fix. I do. I think transparency takes the secrecy out of it and makes it, we're okay.
I said this 2 weeks ago. I think there should be a national database that everyone, almost like Sport Track for contracts in major sport and professional sports.
Yeah.
And you can get on and you can see exactly what everybody's got. It's legal. Nothing has to change. Because in theory, all this is documented. You got to fill out paperwork. We've done it.
Yeah.
It's there. Put it in a database. Let me see what Georgia's paying Jalen Carter or whatever.
Sure.
Okay.
I got no issue with it. I'm cool with it. It's fine.
And it's because here's the deal.
I'm glad the players are getting paid.
As I said yesterday, it's taking the onus off the businesses who go, I don't necessarily want to be associated. You don't have to be. You're paying the collective.
Right.
You're not tied to that player because, in the first iteration of this, it was Tommy Davis Chevrolet, $800 to whatever. Now it's just to the collective.
The good old days.
Yeah. I couldn't think of the Alabama car dealer, but yeah, like
Terry Thompson.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
He's one of them.
They have multiples.
Yeah. I don't know whether he sells Dodges or not.
And yeah, I mean, look, that's true too. It doesn't always go to the highest bidder. I mean, even the Liberty dude said it wasn't the highest bid. I mean, but do you have competitive bids? You know what I mean? Because then it goes, okay, well, there's something about this. I get a lot of substance all of a sudden. I go, oh no, he liked it, the opportunity, the NFL possibility.
That's what I thought was interesting.
Suddenly that expands the story in a lot of ways that is really, really interesting.
I thought it was the interesting part of the story was he didn't go to the highest bidder. And he very specifically said, hey, I've got film at Liberty playing corner. They've got that film. Ole Miss is going to put me at all three safety spots. I'm going to get that film as well at a higher level to show the NFL. Hey, not only can I play corner, but I can play safety. I'm versatile. Putting that on film. That was part of his sales pitch. Now, obviously, Ole Miss had to get in somewhere between 50 and 150 on salary to make it work. Just again, I'm pro players getting paid.
JC23 said word on the street is Coleman's number hovers around 600K. Unbelievable if true. No, that's completely unbelievable right now.
That doesn't even
that didn't even raise my blood pressure when you said that. No, with some of the stuff I've heard. Okay.
Yeah, I've not heard that number that high, but I've heard something close.
If he is an elite wide receiver, yeah, no.
Well, look, for Ole Miss, it's a position of need. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. You can talk about what an idiot Chris Marshall was in the story I've heard.
Wow.
Goodness gracious alive. I mean.
Ole Miss had no choice.
Yeah. But you don't have a replacement on the roster for him today. And to say, hey, Aiden, I know you're at Ridgeland High School. Listen, pal, when you get here against the best defensive backs in the country, what we need you to do like right away is be elite. Okay? Yeah. Cool? You good? Great. That's not fair. Yeah. That's not realistic. That's that is, you can say on one hand, hey, we have Suntarine Perkins and Aiden Williams coming in, and we believe they're going to be great players.
Sure,
absolutely. Now, we believe they're going to be great players on September the 9th. Okay, well, now you're asking a lot. Maybe. Could happen. I mean, Harold Perkins was really good really early at LSU.
He was.
But you can't count on that. Or let me rephrase that. Counting on that is a recipe for a bad outcome.
Yeah, you're rolling the roulette wheel and hoping for one number.
Yeah, we're good. And then you're not. No, you've got to go try to replace him. And he's got, I don't know how many offers he's got out of the portal. A lot of offers.
It's a valid question. GJG23 on the stream. Devil's advocate. Why is it the public's business to play what the players get? I understand the donors knowing, but why everyone? Okay, send out the sheet to everybody who donates to the Grove Collective. That's going to get out publicly in 10 minutes, but sure, I got no problem with that. Again, it's more of my frustration that they keep wanting to call it pro sports without doing any of the actual legwork to make it pro sports.
Yes, that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
You get to use it as a complaint, but you don't get to actually do the things that put the microscope on it in that way.
Well, if a professional...
So, yeah, I mean, send out the revenue report to every donor. Hey, this is what this kid's getting. Sure, okay. But that's a lot of people. I'm not dying, JM. I'm actually on the mend, but it does not sound like it.
Okay, I mean, here's my example.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm at Keon Coleman's Twitter page.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Says, at Keon Coleman 6, professional athlete.
Is that what it says?
Opelousas, Louisiana, has his Instagram. Says when he joined. He's got 11.6 followers. 11.6 thousand followers, right. Be hard to have 11.6 followers.
Bots 30. And stuff, I mean.
Says he'll be in Oxford tomorrow. It was 20 hours ago.
Okay.
He tweeted out on May the 7th, so it's 2 days ago, pictures of him in a Florida State uniform, a video of him doing his photo shoot with the thing.
Does he have a spear?
He had the spear.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, so, I mean, he's publicizing his recruiting, but he refers to himself as a professional athlete. He's heard from 59 schools since entering the transfer portal. 59.
I agree with this. I mean, JM says transparency would help level the NIL market. I don't know if it helps level it. It might. But it absolutely makes you, I mean, it would give an entire different realm and coverage and fan participation to this where fans could almost, I mean, it's almost like small market Major League Baseball teams. You know, like what the Rays do versus what the Yankees do.
Of course.
You go, oh, wow, we've got people in place that are awesome right here.
Sure.
But when everybody just lies and goes, we've got all the money in the world, well, now I can't judge you on how you're doing.
Right. Well, I mean, like, let's say Ole Miss goes to Georgia in November, which they do.
Yeah.
And you find out that Ole Miss's football payroll is, I don't know, $11 million.
Yeah.
And Georgia's is 21.
Sure.
I'm making numbers up, but I suspect I'm ballparking.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I'm not fully informed, but I'm not fully uninformed either. Let's say Ole Miss wins the game. That's part of the story. If the Tampa Bay Rays win the American League pennant, part of the story with the Tampa Bay Rays winning the American League pennant is that they did it with an incredibly different kind of budget. The whole Moneyball thing, which is a complete farce, was built around the fact that we the A's don't have the money to compete with the Red Sox and the Yankees. So we have to do it a different way. Why were we fascinated by the Cotton Bowl? Tulane beat Southern Cal.
Yeah, we didn't know the numbers, but we knew Tulane didn't have what Southern Cal had.
Wouldn't you kind of like to know the numbers?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any. Look, Caleb Williams, whatever he got, it was worth it for SC last year. He won the Heisman Trophy, took him to a Access Bowl, raised their profile from kind of mediocre to, hey, they're worth looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'll be the first pick in the draft if he's healthy with the pulse.
Sure.
It's going to get a lot of attention. Cool. Why is it a secret? I mean, when Shohei Ohtani signs with the team in November or December, the story will be the contract. the number, and the team?
Let me think about that through the break, Avery. That's actually a pretty decent question. We'll go there in a second. Neal, let's do some business, and we'll come back.
All right. Our next, I got to just do it real quick. I'm good.
Yeah, you're fine. It's one of those days.
Perusing. It was one of those days for sure. A word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. It can be tough to train your brain to stay in problem-solving mode when faced with a challenge in life, but when you learn how to find your own solutions, there's no better feeling. A therapist can help you become a better problem solver, making it easier to accomplish your goals, no matter how big or small. I've used therapy as a way to handle stress, relax a little. It's a life changer for me. Frankly, it increased my happiness. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, it's accessible, it's affordable, it's entirely online. Get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey. Switch therapist anytime. When you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/MPW today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/MPW. Our next partner is Athletic Greens. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens every day. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health, sustained energy, immune system support, and I hate taking pills. I take AG1 every morning. I love knowing I'm doing something good for my body, giving my body the nutrition it craves, and covering my nutritional bases. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning. Done. I also love that it costs less than $3 a day. Pretty good if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. It's a win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplemental routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Just go to athleticgreens.com/MPW. That's athleticgreens.com/MPW. Check it out.
Podcast also brought to you by the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. If you're ready for the Grove, joining the Vaught Hemingway Stadium this fall for the 2023 football season. Order tickets now to participate in the seat selection process. To explore seating options, visit OleMissTix.com or call them at 662-915-7159 today to help lock the vault. Again, that's OleMissTix.com, 662-915-7159.
Are you vacationing on Florida's Emerald Coast this summer? Whether you're staying on 30A or Pensacola Beach or anywhere in between, check out Captain Lee Comerford with Salty Lab Charters. Licensed and insured, he offers custom excursions such as dolphin watching along Destin beaches, Crab Island sandbar experiences, and a lot more. Check him out on Instagram or book today at saltylabcharters.com. Use the promo code RebelGrove20 to save 20%. That code is good through the month of May and can be applied to any charter booked in 2023. Lake Hill Motors in Corinth, Mississippi is a family-owned dealership in operation for more than 60 years, has a service department with more than 100 years of combined experience. If you're looking for motorcycles, four-wheelers, side-by-sides, scooters, generators, wave runners, lawnmowers, compact tractors, and more, Lake Hill has it from Honda, Yamaha, Bobcat, Hyson, KO, and other name brands. Just contact Michael McCullough in Corinth at 662-871-6918 or visit him in person at 2003 Highway 72 East Annex in Corinth. Mention that you heard about Lake Hill on the podcast, and your first oil change on your new purchase is free.
Spring is here, and it's time to refresh your outdoor spaces. Heavenly Sunshine Property is your go-to for professional power washing from your home's exterior and sidewalks to your deck and patio. The team has the experience and equipment to get the job done right with their advanced power washing techniques and attention to detail. They can remove dirt, grime, and mildew to reveal a fresh and clean surface. They've been serving the Mid-South for over 4 decades, and the full-service commercial and residential property maintenance includes power washing, soft wash roof applications, facade cleaning, and window cleaning. So contact Heavenly Sunshine Property Services today and enjoy a brighter, cleaner outdoor living space. The website is heavenlysunshine.com. or give Sandy a call at 662-342-1203 to book your free estimate today. That's code MPW10 for a 10% discount. So it does kind of sound like Matt after games, honestly. That's a good comparison. It absolutely sounds like Matt Luke after games. I can kind of hear myself as you say that, because he'd come in and apologize. I got nothing.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
We went from that to Lane coming in. Just, we didn't do some things right, or I was pretty pleased.
Yeah, I was really proud of the offense today.
Yeah, did some good things.
He probably didn't get hoarse very much because he can talk in that low cadence and be all right.
Yeah.
I should try it.
Wonder what he's like on the headset.
You think he's quiet then, too?
I'm going to guess he's fairly quiet on the headset,
He just doesn't get overly pissed off.
No.
Nah, whatever.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to keep up with his pulse in a game.
I would like all of his whoop data.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah. I would like to see his whoop data.
Because a lot of coaches, the pulse is like 190.
And just
it's like you're dying right now if you were not coaching a football game. I mean, your heart is just going, hey, not done.
Avery Mallet in the stream says the issue is then you would lose every player the next season to a higher bidder because there's no contracts. Teams know the numbers anyway.
They didn't lose Quinshon Judkins. He had higher offers, I promise you.
Yeah.
He got his.
And you can find out if you need to find out.
Yeah.
It's known. If a kid is interested in that kind of thing and leaving, it'll come out.
Yeah.
Or put in contracts.
I mean,
I do believe, it's my opinion, everybody can disagree all they want to.
Sure.
When a kid signs a contract with a collective, that should lock him in for that year.
I do too.
I buy that.
I do too.
Because Quinshon Judkins signed that and goes, I'm committed. Team still could have poached him. It didn't. That was not binding on Quinshon's side at all. That was binding on Ole Miss's side.
Yeah, they didn't exhale until
the portal was 1st. Over.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think signing a contract with a collective should bind you.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, I guess you have some questions on, does that go for the same for the guy getting $700,000 to the guy getting $20? But nonetheless,
it's complicated. It's where you'd like to sit down with the Keith Carters and Alan Greens of the world and say, explain it to me like I'm 5.
Why can't we do this?
Why can't you do this?
Because they become an employer.
Right.
Which is.
And then you get into an area that just nobody wants to go there.
Then Grind goes, that would backfire with a situation like Chris Marshall's. Yeah, you would have to eat the money. You would cut him, but still owe him money.
Yeah.
Depending on what the contract said.
Well, you'd be firing an employee with essentially a no compete, which means that you have to pay him the rest of the contract or waive the no compete.
Right. And in this case, you would waive the no compete.
And just go let him play somewhere.
But now NCAA rules don't allow him to go compete.
And the NCAA would say that's ripe for a lawsuit here because now you're restricting his earning potential.
Yeah, it's not says morality clauses and such.
Yeah, the NCAA wants no part of the lawsuits.
I mean, Mississippi's a right-to-work state.
Yeah. But if you fire me and you don't pay me anymore, you also can't prevent me from seeking other employment.
No.
So if you're going to hold me to a no-compete, you got to pay me.
And you wouldn't, though. You'd let him go.
Right. But if you let him go, he could conceivably go play at Mississippi State tomorrow.
Okay.
Sure.
Their problem.
Right.
Because frankly, a lot of the well, no, Grind, it's not pro sports. That's the point. No. I mean, yeah, no.
That's his
100%.
Yeah, it's actually the conversation I'd like to have with Lane. Like Lane says that, and I'm like, well, what you say it's pro sports, and you were an NFL head coach, so I know he knows the difference.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
but
what would you like it to be? Don't give me the answer that I know you're going to give me. Well, that's above my pay grade. I'm not paid. Okay, but if it were, you're a smart guy. Listen, think about Lane is he's a really smart guy.
He loves the big picture questions.
He loves big picture questions. He's a thoughtful person, and he's smart. The whole people do the reputation thing, the Joey Freshwater crap and all that stuff. It's like, whatever. In reality, he's a really smart, thoughtful guy. If you were the commissioner, I realize you're not. If you were, what would you push for? How would you? You've seen it now. You've been at FAU. You've been at Alabama. You've been at Ole Miss. How would you sort of do it? I suspect in his mind he has the answer to that. I'd be fascinated to hear it. I'd like to ask that question of John Sumrall at Troy He was at Kentucky. Now he's at Troy. He's probably going to be back in the SEC one day. I'd be interested to talk to a lot of people.
You think he's the next coach at Kentucky?
A real chance. Speaking of, I'd love to talk to Mark Stoops. How would you fix this? What would you do? I'd ask Nick Saban. You're not the Alabama coach anymore. Now you're the czar of college football. How would you fix it? What would you do? That would be an interesting summit. What's interesting is I suspect that summit sort of happens like in Destin in a few weeks, and we just don't ever hear about it. It happens in a hotel suite with 3 or 4 guys sitting there, having a bourbon and having an interesting conversation that, frankly, some of the commissioners ought to go, okay, all right, let's take this to the boardroom.
Yeah, whatever y'all think. Okay,
but I don't know where all that stands.
Did you see the story that came out today about the football profit figures for the 2021-2022 season?
I did not.
So it's the SEC revenue pecking order, not counting media rights. So not counting TV, any of that. Just what the schools themselves generate internally.
Season tickets and all that stuff.
Yeah, again, not including the massive whatever, but it's what they send to the Department of Education for its annual mandated equity in athletics, blah, 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 the dump. You can read Ole Miss's online. I go to it all the time for different stuff. These are also gross numbers. Keep that in mind. Not net numbers. Sorry, I'm hitting a little bit of a wall. So internally acquired gross revenue, best way to put it.
Okay.
Vanderbilt, number 16, $33.6 million. So bottom of the barrel.
Okay.
Missouri, 15, $35.8 million. Barely ahead of Vanderbilt. Kentucky, 14, $37.7 million.
Okay.
Mississippi State, 13, $40.7 million. So $7 million more than Vanderbilt.
Higher than I thought they would
13th.
be. Yeah.
South Carolina, 12, big jump, $63.8 million.
Oh.
So State, 13th at $40 million. South Carolina, 12th at $63 million.
Okay.
Ole Miss, 11th, $73.8 million. It's a good number for Ole Miss.
It's a really good number for Ole Miss. It kind of is. It also makes me feel good about that. That's the school I always compare Ole Miss to.
South Carolina. Yeah.
South Carolina and Ole Miss.
Nobody does that because they don't play much.
Right.
But yes, it's very much east-west.
To me, they're very similar. How about that? I got that one right over the years.
In the same year, men's basketball cleared 1.4 in profit. Women's basketball lost 5.6.
Okay.
For 2020, whatever I said. I think it was 21-22 is what I said.
Okay, so Ole Miss is 11. Keep going. I'm curious.
A&M 10, 81.5. Only $8 million more than Ole Miss.
Huh.
At 10. Arkansas 9, $84 million.
Okay.
Florida $93 million at 8.
Okay. 8th. It's a tough league.
Yeah, when Florida is 8.
Yeah.
LSU 7, $95.5.
Okay.
Tennessee 6, $101 million.
Yeah.
Auburn 5, $106 million.
Yeah.
That's high for them.
Yeah.
Football profit for them was a 54.5 according to the report. Alabama 127 at number 4.
Okay.
They're putting Oklahoma and Texas into this list.
They're in the league. Might as well.
Oklahoma 132.7 at 3.
Going to be a power in this league.
Georgia at 2 at 156.
Yeah.
And Texas number 1 at 161.
Wow.
So Ole Miss a very respectable number at 11th, and they are $90 million behind Texas. Again, let's also be aware that this is a lot of funny math that schools do to justify things, but overall it's a snapshot.
But it gives you a rough. It's a rough draft. You'd want to clean it up before you turn it into the
this
teacher.
is not audited in a way that whatever, but yes.
Numbers that your accountant does when she or he tells you, hey, here's what we're kind of looking at.
But assuming it's all right, if your state, you're 33 million, almost 100% behind 11.
Well, it just tells you that, like, again, it's Major League Baseball. You're the Pittsburgh Pirates. You're never going to be able to compete in the same exact way that the Yankees do. period. So you have to figure it out.
It's a crazy number.
It is.
I mean, it really is. Just, I don't know. Anyway, nonetheless.
Snide says, I thought Ole Miss equals Arkansas. Is that just baseball? Just the way the baseball programs are incredibly similar. I don't know how else to express it. The schools are very similar. The dollar figures are different, obviously, but that is a very fertile area up there from a corporate standpoint.
It's a useless conversation, but it just shows you, we always talk about, I think Hume is who I've kind of put it on over the couple of years that I've researched it, who got Ole Miss into the SEC. Had they just combined with State.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Be a force.
Power.
Be a beast.
It's LSU.
Yeah.
Even to the point of, Oxford only won by 1 vote. What would Ole Miss look like if they were on the coast? Mississippi City lost to Oxford by 1 vote.
Mississippi City is essentially Gulfport.
It's on the coast somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe different.
It would hurt LSU.
Oh, yeah. God, that'd be a rivalry. Holy God.
Yeah, like less than 100 miles from each other.
Yeah. That'd be, and Ole Miss culturally would be different.
Oh, well, there's no doubt about that.
It would be more like LSU.
And State would be much better off because they would be up here by themselves in North Mississippi to kind of take that section.
Yeah.
Jackson would be this dividing line in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oxford and Starkville being so close to one another. I mean, it's less than 2 hours there. Just makes no sense, really.
Ginger does have a really good point. Arkansas does have the bordering state scholarship situation, which thrusts Arkansas into a totally different tax bracket from a baseball standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
That, frankly, keeps expanding.
Yeah, and from a student body standpoint, it's been a game changer for them.
Are they keeping that up, or are they cutting that at any point? Do they get to a point where they have enough?
They have talked about cutting it back some, but they haven't done it yet.
Okay.
Now, they face the same housing crisis that Ole Miss faces.
Mm-hmm.
Growth is wonderful, but you have to accommodate growth. You can't just keep bringing new residents to a city and not build infrastructure. It doesn't work.
I'm going to get to the gambling stuff after the break, but did you see the NHL draft lottery last night? The
I did. Your Blackhawks
pulled it off.
Going to get Connor Bedard.
Yeah. I've got a couple buddies who are big hockey fans sending me texts this morning going, real convenient that one of the original 6, just as they lose Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, they pull off the hit for Bedard there. So
yeah,
somehow Anaheim didn't win the lottery.
The conspiracy theorists are on a run lately, and so if I'm the Houston Rockets, I look at that yesterday and I'm like, I don't know, somebody else is going to win this Wembanyama thing. Biggest star to come to the league, and
because they say Bedard's not McDavid, but he's the next thing.
They say he's a beast. There was a roar at Wrigley last night when
the Blackhawks tanked.
Yeah,
didn't have the best odds though.
Worked out. Almost like someone told him, "Hey,
just hang in there.
Hang in there for a minute." NHL needs the Blackhawks to be big.
Oh no, they need Chicago. That's a big franchise.
Yeah.
3 Stanley Cups in the last era.
You know what the NBA needs, really? Is what they need is the Oklahoma City Thunder to land the big.
You can't even say it with a straight face.
I mean, the Thunder, I think it's a 1.7% chance at the first pick.
Is that really it?
Yeah. They have like an 80-something% chance for the 12th pick. And then after that,
well, the Pelicans grab Zion.
Yeah. So it's the Thunder's turn.
Okay.
The NBA changed the rules. It really kind of cost them Durant in 2016. So they owe him one. This would make it even.
You'll take that one.
You don't think they'd sell some tickets if you're adding Holmgren and Wembanyama to the lineup next year, huh?
They expect Holmgren to be good.
Oh, yeah. I think the expectation is he's going to be an elite player.
Really?
LeBron James says he's an elite player. I'll take LeBron's word for it. LeBron seems to know some stuff about basketball.
Yeah, he had a good night. We'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
Breaking like 90 seconds, but what do you Iowa and Iowa State both thrown into this gambling thing yesterday. More than 15 players across multiple sports, the two universities.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Iowa yesterday. Mm-hmm. Multiple baseball players held out NCAA rules. I'm using quotes. Iowa State with a much stronger statement, frankly, when they came out yesterday, says they're aware of online sports wagering allegations involving 15 of their student athletes from the sports of football, wrestling, track and field in violation of NCAA rules. They've notified the NCAA. It was notable, though, to me that to this point, Iowa State doesn't have a baseball team, so that's irrelevant. But Iowa baseball has not been taken off the books. You can still bet on them, which Neal and I were talking about this before the break. I think this is related to professional sports gambling.
Is betting legal in Iowa? Can you bet on the sports books in Iowa?
I don't know.
I don't either. I'm wondering if you can, because if you can, my guess here, and this is a guess, I've not dug into this, probably should here soon, because I think it's a monumentally big story. The way the NCAA forbids coaches or players from betting on sports, not just college sports that the NCAA has a championship in. Obviously, the NCAA has a football championship. It has a basketball championship. It has a baseball championship. You can't bet on Major League Baseball, on NBA, on NFL.
You can't even do fantasy baseball if it has a payout.
Right. You can do a fantasy baseball league, but it can be no award, no reward. There can be no winning. You can't even do it if the winner gets $100. Nope. Winner can't get anything but bragging rights.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that these are players, these are athletes that have an account with like DraftKings or PIN or whatever, and that they're doing online wagering.
Oh. That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Compliance offices all over compliance departments all over the country right now are I don't know if panicking is the right word, because I don't know that, but I'm guessing they are on alert.
Iowa is legal they have actual sports books and online gambling in Iowa.
Okay, that's my hypothesis. I could be wrong.
That is correct.
I could be completely wrong. I don't know that, but that's my guess. That this is a student athlete who took the Nuggets -6, took the Lakers money line, bet on a Blackhawks game. I mean, whatever. I'm guessing that's where it went, and that's where there's no. The Alabama baseball thing was they knew that the coach was directly involved with the placement of the bet, or assumed that they believed that he was, and they took it down.
Yeah,
because you're getting into game fixing at that point.
Yeah, we're gonna do it after the break. And if we do that, I'll tell you about G&M Pharmacy 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer medicine for your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery, and you have everything you need with G&M. So whether it be in Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or G&M here in Oxford, that's 662-236-2222.
Walk On Sports Bistro puts everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. Dig into their mouthwatering, made-from-scratch Louisiana cuisine like po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, fan favorites like juicy burgers, fresh salads, all in front of 70-plus TVs, 40-plus ice-cold beers on tap. Check them out in Oxford or Ridgeland. College Corner is your one-stop Rebel Shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area in Ridgeland. It's next to Fleet Feet and Flowwood. It's next to Half Shell. You can also go to collegecornerstore.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram. They have the largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. Brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. It's getting hot outside. If you haven't gotten that AC checked out, make sure it's running at its fullest potential. Now's the time. Different names, different different names with the same great products, the same great services, the same great people. Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo. Call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in the Memphis area, get in touch with Southern at 662-429-4429. A-Stock is a Nashville-based online retail company with the mission to provide customers the power to name their price. All items start at just $1. That's right. Every item starts at just $1, no matter what the retail value may be. Shop now at astock.com ASTOCK.bid. That's ASTOCK.bid. Or download their app, name your price on thousands of items from big-name retailers. A-Stock has multiple locations around Nashville and Memphis, some in Indiana, and more coming soon that offer local pickups, so don't miss out. Brought to you by Solutions RX. It's a probiotic multivitamin supplement company created by Ole Miss Pharmacy alum Chris Cornelison. Yesterday, I was telling you about prescription support. They also have all sorts of other products that are available in local independent pharmacies across the continental U.S., including all across Mississippi, are on their website, solutionsrx.com. Just type in the promo code OEP at checkout, get 10% off your first order. It's graduation season. Dead Soxy has your favorite grad's feet covered. Every journey begins with the first step. Make it count. Gift your grad premium Dead Soxy socks. Take 30% off savings or gift a sock subscription that will keep them fresh as they step into their new adventure in style. It's deadsoxy.com. 30% off by entering the promo code Rebel Grove at checkout. And we're brought to you by Game Changer Patches, the only 2-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. You got the warm-up patch. You've got the overtime patch. All natural ingredients keep you in the game, ready for your next play. Go to GameChangerPatch.com. Promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase.
Podcast also brought to you by Prime Shrimp, PrimeShrimp.com. 7 different flavors available for you. They ship directly to your door. So everything from New Orleans-style barbecue to the signature to the garlic herb butter and more. You can use code RG, buy 5 pouches or more, and you get 25% off. They're also now available in all Rouse's markets. That's in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. Wherever you find a Rouse's, you can find Prime Shrimp. So again, code RG, 5 pouches or more. That's primeshrimp.com. Okay, so what I was looking at, though, here was, yeah, I mean, best guesses are that there's not point shaving in these two teams, right?
It appears that way.
So my question is, because look, maybe we're wrong. Maybe it is Bohannon and now Iowa and Iowa State. I'm sure every compliance office in the country is sending reminders and warnings and all kind of stuff to all their dudes right now. But what has how do you even find, like, what do you think was the impetus to locate these things in these two places? It's a little weird. It's Iowa and Iowa State. Is that somebody inside the state of Iowa that's tipping people off?
That would be my guess, is that it's someone at one of the books or something in Iowa who's familiar with bets being placed, who's, on a commission of some sort, knowing that athletes are placing, or coaches or whatever are placing bets. I don't know. That's my guess. And that it sets off alarm bells. If Iowa football players, for example, are betting on games, that's a slippery road, right? So an Iowa football player, let's pick on my Hawkeyes for a minute. You find out that he's betting on NBA games, likes the NBA. It's a bad stretch, okay? Owes $15,000.
Mm-hmm.
You have to assume at that point, hey, this guy could be doing some stuff behind the scene with the bookie too, right? I mean, who knows what's happening? He suddenly, or he wants to just, hey, I got to clear this up. Who's to stop him from, Iowa's playing Michigan State, takes the Spartans -2.5, and he just misses a few plays. Misses a tackle that he normally would make. Blows a coverage he normally would handle. One play.
It doesn't take much.
So instead of Iowa winning by 2, they lose by 5. All of a sudden, his $15,000 debt's cleared up.
Or, I mean, instead of winning by 11, they win by 6. Doesn't change an outcome.
Right. Again, I mean, it's just it's why they don't allow it, because they understand the slope that you could get on.
Chris Vanini had a story detailing basically when gambling has been seen or proven in college sports by players. And the last couple that have happened, we haven't actually had a point shaving situation in a while. The last couple that's been proven, obviously. 5 Richmond baseball players in 2017 were suspended for sports betting. No evidence of point shaving or anything to do with their actual team. In 2014, UTEP dismissed 3 men's basketball players for gambling on athletic events, but did not appear to be their own games. The one that I didn't remember, at all. I asked Neal even how to pronounce his name because I don't know. 2012, Auburn point guard Kai Veras Ward, I don't know, was accused of attempting to fix an Auburn game against Arkansas in January 2012. He came off the bench but fell to the floor with an apparent leg injury after 19 seconds. Arkansas won the game. He was suspended before the next Arkansas game in February. He was accepted into a pretrial diversion program in 2014 that dismissed the robbery and conspiracy charges.
Oh.
But a reserve gets hurt and is enough to swing a game, like that feels not apt enough to be the case.
I mean, I'm quite the, as you know, I'm quite the Arkansas basketball aficionado, but I don't recall the exact situation leading into that game. So,
well, he played for Auburn, it appears.
Yeah, I know, but he was playing against the Hogs, so I don't know how. I don't know what Auburn's point guard situation was at the time, if they had an injury and Barris was going to play a lot of minutes or what the situation was. I don't know. Who was Auburn's coach at that time? Was that the Lebo era?
I guess.
Okay.
Fun era.
Yeah. It was maybe Lebo versus Pelfrey back in the good old days. I don't know. I don't. It's a wonder it doesn't happen more often. There's a comment in the stream. Danny Cannell has apparently said that he blames this on NIL because players suddenly have money in their pockets. I think that's a reach.
I don't buy that at all.
Look, the fact that the players are getting paid and do have money in their pockets, and for a lot of them, we can't do they can't even afford a pizza anymore, right? It does make you double down on hey guys, you can't gamble. You can't gamble on sports. I mean, you can go play blackjack. You can play poker.
Bet on the ponies.
You can bet on the ponies. But fellas, you can't bet on the NBA or the NFL right now. You can't take the Cardinals money line. Nope. Slippery slope. And you damn sure can't bet on college sports. You can't bet on Purdue minus 1.5.
I don't remember this one. 2011, San Diego basketball, University of the Toreros. Former USD assistant Thaddeus Brown convinced point guard Brandon Johnson to shave points for up to $10,000 per game during the 2009-2010 season, the FBI claimed, adding that at least 4 games were affected. Johnson was a former star player with NBA Dreams who was derailed by injuries. An unrelated drug trafficking and illegal casino investigation uncovered in connection with Brown and Johnson, revealing the basketball scheme. Johnson was sentenced to 6 months in prison. Brown sentenced to 1 year.
Oh.
I did not recall that at all.
Yeah, I didn't remember that either.
2006, Detroit businessmen paid Toledo football and basketball players to influence the final scores of games. They had a wiretapped conversation that ended up giving 7 players criminal charges in that. And then one of the more famous ones for something that people didn't realize at the time was Rick Neuheisel being fired for a bracket pool. 2003 when he was at Washington.
I remember that.
Yeah. Same thing. You can no financial stuff.
It can be bragging rights. That's it.
Yeah.
Can't do it for $100. Speaking of, DraftKings has the over-unders on SEC teams out.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the betting culture is everywhere. Expecting 18 to 22-year-olds to not be intrigued by it is unrealistic. I'm fascinated to see what happens with the Iowa thing because I suspect this is right. But I mean, there's nothing. You can't do it in Mississippi, but you can drive across the state line, go to Tennessee, and do it. Be in Tennessee in an hour.
Oh, I mean,
and go place your bets. Yeah, DraftKings has the SEC win totals. Georgia's 11.5, Alabama's 10.5, Tennessee's 9.5. So is LSU. Ole Miss, Arkansas, Texas A&M, all 7.5. South Carolina 6.5, along with Kentucky, Missouri, Mississippi State, and Auburn. Florida's 5.5, and Vanderbilt, my boys, 3.5.
Did you see where I just stumbled across it on Twitter last night? Is it Josh Pate? He was going all in on the Vandy over. I mean, just raving on the Vandy over last night.
I'm with Josh, and maybe this is me. And
he said the Commodores are being disrespected.
I mean, I'm not even doing the disrespect thing. I can get them to 4 pretty fast. And maybe I'm wrong. I just think they're going to be better than that. I'm pulling up their schedule right now. Here I go. Hawaii's 1, Alabama A&M is 2, UNLV is 3. So all I got to do is get one more. At Wake,
they're losing at Wake.
They get Missouri at home. They get Kentucky at home. At Florida, they get Auburn at home. You tell me I can't get one of those games? Because if I get one of them, I got my money. 1. Hawaii, Alabama, A&M, UNLV. Boom, boom, boom. That's 3.
You feel good about those?
Yeah, that's 3. I mean, I could win that bet by Saturday, September the 16th if I win at Wake.
They're not winning at Wake.
See, I'm not as willing to go, all right, Wake loses their quarterback. They'll be fine. I know they have a good program. But
they were in an Access Bowl 2 years ago.
I know that. I'm just telling you. But even if not, I get shots at it. I get Kentucky on September the 23rd.
You don't think they're beating Kentucky?
I don't know. I watched Kentucky and Oxford last year. I wasn't blown away. I was expecting to see a different kind of product. Missouri, am I petrified of Missouri on September the 30th in Nashville? What is it about Missouri football that's terrifying me? I'm not saying Vanderbilt will win the game. I'm simply saying, are you telling me Vanderbilt can't win that game? Of course not.
How many guaranteed losses?
Guaranteed losses.
Yeah.
All right. They're losing to Georgia. I mean, they're probably losing at Ole Miss. They're probably losing at South Carolina. They're probably losing at Tennessee.
For comparison, last year, now, was Hartman hurt or did he play against Vandy last year?
He played. He came back and played because my doors got off to a hot start, and everybody was like, hey, whoa, hold up.
So he came back early.
He came back and played well that night.
The Wake beat Vandy 45-25 in Nashville last year.
Yeah, with Hartman.
Okay.
Just saying.
Hartman is better than whoever they will have this year.
Yes. And Vanderbilt has another year in the system. Vanderbilt played pretty well down the stretch last year. I realized Tennessee beat the brakes off of them, but other than that, they played pretty well. I mean, you're telling me Vanderbilt's going to be intimidated by the swamp?
Hartman was 18 for 27 for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks last
Feels
year.
Impactful.
It's a decent day.
I mean, that's a number. If you offer most coaches, hey, your quarterback's going to throw for 300, 4 TDs, no picks. 9 out of 10 coaches go sign me up. That's a good start. Got a shot. Gonna have a shot.
Okay. Gride makes a good point. What everybody is telling us is to take the under on Florida. They're going to suck. No one is high on the Gators.
No.
Which tells you if that Gator wasn't on the side of the helmet, it would be even worse. Because Vegas is impacted by optics to a team.
So Florida, we've done this before. We'll do it 1,000 times. At Utah to open the season, that feels like a loss. McNeese, that's a win, is 1. At home against Tennessee, I'm not giving them that game. Charlotte, that's a win, 2. At Kentucky, I'm not giving it to them. Vanderbilt at home. At South Carolina. They got Georgia and Jacksonville. Arkansas a week later at home. At LSU, at Missouri, Florida State. Dude, I'm not sure I'd give them 4 wins. What are we in love with Florida? Fill me in.
No, I know.
I mean, the quarterback that we just criticized went fourth in the draft. I mean, I don't even know who's their quarterback. Who's their guy?
Mertz.
Okay, I'm totally in on the under.
You're not big on Graham Mertz.
I watched a lot of Big Ten football. Wisconsin was a lot of 3 yards in a cloud of turf. That doesn't win in the SEC. I mean, I can make an argument. Tell me where I'm wrong. These are losses. Tell me where I'm being unreasonable.
Okay.
They lose at Utah, to Tennessee, at Kentucky, at South Carolina, versus Florida, at LSU, at Missouri, and to Florida State. That's me giving them 2 wins that I don't necessarily feel comfortable giving them. I'm giving them Vanderbilt and Arkansas at home. If Arkansas is healthy, they'll come in there with KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders. You're telling me they're going to be intimidated by the swamp? Why? They could lose both of those games. Can you imagine the noise by the end of the season if I'm right and they lose to Utah, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina, and Georgia? They will have 5 losses when Arkansas comes to town to start November. The place will be half full, booing the coach, and we'll be having to put up with the Lane Kiffin to Florida rumors. That's where we'll be on November the 4th.
Which it ties the 2 conversations together because it means you think Vanderbilt could beat Florida again.
I do. Again, I was sitting in a room in Fayetteville working on an Ole Miss hot board, watching that game going, the better team here is winning. Vanderbilt was better than Florida. And that was with Anthony Richardson playing quarterback. Vanderbilt was better than Florida. That was not a fluke. They beat them at the line of scrimmage. Go pull up a box.
ESPN FPI is predicting Vanderbilt to go 4-8 and predicting Wake Forest to go 6-5 with a toss, basically. Okay. They have Wake at number 47. They have Vanderbilt at number 73.
I mean, I don't know who's beating Georgia, but I hate going over 11.5. That feels like you're just asking for it. I don't hate under 10.5 for Bama.
Under 10.5.
I don't hate under 9.5 for the Vols.
Okay.
I don't hate the over 9.5 for LSU, but I'm told by people that I'm overinflating LSU.
Okay.
I wouldn't touch Ole Miss at 7.5. That feels like the right number, and I just would stay away from it. I don't hate the under 7.5 for Arkansas. Texas A&M 7.5 is a fascinating number.
That's their number?
7.5 is their number.
Oh,
Ole
wow.
Miss, Arkansas, and Texas A&M are all 7.5.
Okay.
South Carolina at 6.5. I don't hate the over there. Kentucky at 6.5. I don't hate the under for 6.5 on Missouri.
Okay.
I don't hate the under 6.5 for Mississippi State. 6.5 for Auburn's a fascinating number. It's first-year coach. He's going to do all that stuff, but they've got some issues.
It's Ashford.
I mean, I'm assuming it's Ashford. They brought in the kid the other day from Michigan State.
Mm.
And then we talked about Florida and Vanderbilt.
Yeah. No, I get it. Wow.
I mean, Austin says between Alabama and Georgia, Ole Miss is going to beat one of them. If they do, then I absolutely adore the over on Ole Miss. I'm just not sure I'm ready to go there yet.
Yes, if that's true, then okay.
I mean, Ole Miss is – they'll put this on the video. I don't see how Ole Miss beats Georgia there. I don't see how Ole Miss defensively is going to hold up. It's a big ask. If you told me that they found a way against Alabama earlier in the season when Alabama was still trying to figure some things out, okay. The Georgia part, I'm not sure you guys have been watching their recruiting the last few years. They're pretty loaded. That feels like a line of scrimmage issue.
There's a reason the Eagles just took the entire Georgia team in the draft.
Yeah.
We'll go with that and see how it goes. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, NESPARC, service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com, 662-238-3159.
We're brought to you by ACS, Automation Control Systems, LLC. ACS can cover and service and install Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley, Siemens, ABB, Square D, and many other manufacturers. They're based in Baldwin, Mississippi. You can get in touch with them at acsllcms.com or call 662-601-4381. It's not too late to still stop by Lammon's Fine Jewelry. In fact, that might be a great idea if you think you're doing holiday shopping later in the year for jewelry. Probably can get great deals now at Lammon's, 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They're closing next month. Alan and Nancy are retiring after a long time in this community at a fabulous store that's going to be missed. It's lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. You can get in touch with the people at Pinnacle and ask their 401k advisory services team to conduct a complimentary no obligation benchmarking and analysis, of your current 401k plan. Just get in touch with them at mypinwealth.com. That's MYPINN wealth.com. We're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're still planning a summer vacation, maybe you're planning a holiday trip, whatever the case may be, get in touch with John, give him some parameters, give him a budget. He is going to find options and give you the extra attention that's needed to make a special trip one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. If you're coming to town for graduation, for the Auburn series, or just whenever, stop by Opa. It's Oxford's newest Greek restaurant on the square. It's a perfect place to enjoy an evening out in Oxford. Fabulous food, great craft libations as well at Opa. I'll have a mailbag to you tomorrow. It's brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. Whitney sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. You can reach her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. Also brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency, connecting great job opportunities to candidates since 1967. If your company is looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, Service Specialists can help. Keep in mind that payment of service is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that they send. You've got nothing to lose, so give them a call at 662-832-5138 or servicespecialistltd.com.
Kip Alderman will be making a public appearance at Style Assembly on the Square in Oxford on Mother's Day from 1 to 3. Stop by to hang out with Kemp, get autographs, take pictures, and ask questions in a personal one-on-one setting. It's all free, and there'll be a limited number of posters available on site for him to sign if you don't want to bring your own merchandise. Speaking of Mother's Day, just around the corner, let Style Assembly help you find mom the perfect gift, whether it's clothing, jewelry, shoes, purses, sunglasses, or a gift card. They simplify the shopping process with wish lists. Just have mom fill out a list at the store over the phone, and a team will keep it on file. So all you have to do is stop by or choose something off the list. You'll get the exact gift down to the color and size for the special someone. They'll even gift wrap for free. It's perfect for Mother's Day, graduation, birthdays, and more. So stop by the store on 203 North Lamar next to Blind Pig, 662-638-3163, or DM at Shop Style Assembly on social media to place an order. I see on Twitter that the Iowa Gaming Commission says that there's no evidence that anything has been compromised as far as their games.
And more and more, my hypothesis feels like it might have some validity to it.
It nothing else makes a ton of sense, frankly. If we're just
these meetings are happening all over the country right now. I would imagine they're getting in front of the kids and saying, "Hey,
what's up?
You can't."
I mean, baseball would be where if you were a bookie trying to fix something, you would go.
Yeah.
Hey, give you a little cash. You don't have a lot.
It's also the one sport that would be the easiest to catch right away because there's not a lot of betting action.
Well, that's what happened with the Bama thing, is that the size of the bets was so off, and nobody bets on baseball, really.
Well, there were literally, it was Tyler was saying this on our show. There was, I think he was talking about DraftKings. It could have been somebody else. FanDuel, maybe. There was literally no other bet on that game. Kyle Peterson was on Feinbaum the other day, and it was really interesting. I don't normally listen to that, but I did that day, and Paul did a really good job on it. And he had Kyle Peterson on. He said, betting in college baseball, is this something that you ever think about or talk about? He goes, no, we never think about it except for, prop bets, LSU to win the national championship or whatever. But obviously, it's a new era. Pardon the pun.
The Warriors dead? Is it over?
No.
3-1.
You know who you're talking to.
3-1.
I've been there.
3-1.
But they
were sloppy last night.
They were sloppy. And look, they threw some punches at the Lakers, and the Lakers, to their credit, took them.
Anthony Davis is playing like Anthony Davis.
He's playing very good defensively. They're making the Warriors work. They're making Steph really work. And in the fourth quarter, he looked tired. And look, LeBron's LeBron. I mean, Father Time has taken a bite, but it ain't a big bite. He's still – and the part of LeBron's game that I don't know that we all give him credit for. Austin Reeves talked about this on a podcast. He was on with Andre Iguodala and that show. And
Iguodala has a show.
Yeah. And they were interviewing Reeves, and they asked him about LeBron. And Reeves said that the thing about LeBron is he's so smart. He's such a smart basketball player. His basketball IQ is elite. That you can't really play for the Lakers unless you understand how to play. And if you look at what they get out of different guys on different nights, it's people that have figured out D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, people who have figured out how to play with LeBron, how to play with AD. They're really good when they play like this. Now, look, they're not a super team because LeBron's not 28. He's 38.
Sure.
And Anthony Davis can be inconsistent. But they're going to be a really tough out. Golden State's going to have a hard time winning 3 in a row against the Lakers.
Tomorrow night?
Yeah. It's every other night from here on out, I think.
It is. Okay. Tonight, Sixers, Celtics, Game 5, back in Boston, 6:30 on that one. And then Game 5, Suns and Nuggets, 9 o'clock TNT for that one. So TNT doubleheader tonight for those two games. I was proud of America yesterday. The Athletic ran a poll about was it Jokic's fault or the owner of the Suns, and 85% said flop. So that was good.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have gotten up in him like that. I mean, Nikola Jokic is playing basketball in a playoff game at a really high level. I'm going to guess that the heart rate's up a little at that moment, that he's probably not laid back calm at that very moment. Playing Game 4 of a Western Conference semifinal, he's probably a little, the hair on his arm standing a little bit, right? You don't get up in somebody's face like that. No, everybody knows that. Any other person in that arena does that, and they're out.
He got fined $25,000, whatever.
Which is like me fining you 10 cents. I mean, he'll be fine.
The owner, to his credit, said he does not need to be suspended.
Yeah.
Like, stop. That's not.
No, it wouldn't. No. And he's not. We're going to move on. We're going to play.
Yeah, you could not take him out of Game 5 of that series for that.
No.
Oh, God.
No. And the NBA doesn't want to. This is suddenly a very compelling series, and this is a game that a lot of eyeballs will be on tonight.
I think I still want Celtics Nuggets out of those two games to advance. Pretty sure. I think that's where I'm at.
It'd be a hell of a series. But again, I mean, hey, look, Miami won again last night. I mean, Jimmy Butler went for 26. The
Knicks are flawed.
They are. Bam Adebayo was very, very good on the boards.
You're not giving up on Miami yet.
Kyle Lowry has become a guy who has accepted this smaller role, and not only accepted it, but embraced it. And so Miami gets great bench minutes. I don't think they're winning the next round. I think they lose to Boston or Philly. But look, this Boston-Philly thing might be a deal where they stand in the ring in the 15th round and just beat the hell out of each other. And, Miami's going to probably finish off the Knicks and have a little rest time. And all of a sudden, 2 days later, Miami's showing up in Philly or Boston, and they're like, whoever's standing is like,
they steal Game 1.
And they steal Game 1. All of a sudden, it's a series. Right? That is not unrealistic.
They're good.
And Eric Spoelstra, listen, if it's Heat Celtics, the Heat advantage in the coaching deal is whew.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Celtics coaching situation is a little iffy.
Does he stay there or does he leave, Spoelstra? You think he's there for his whole career?
He's there forever. I mean, he's good.
I mean, he's got his hardware.
And he's kind of a Miami guy at this point. Probably been there forever.
They're happy with him.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's terrific.
What's Milwaukee going to do with Budenholzer fired?
Regret firing Budenholzer.
Kind of comes back at Giannis a little bit over that press conference. You go, hold on a minute, you fired your coach. It's a failure.
Yeah.
Just
the organization disagrees with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think they're going to regret firing him?
Yeah, he's a terrific coach.
So he'll get a gig.
Yes.
Does Giannis get to pick the coach? Is that the way it works in Milwaukee?
I'm sure he'll have a role in it, but I mean,
who do they go get?
I don't know.
I mean, they got a team.
Oh, they got a team. Got a window.
But you're in the window.
You're in it.
And you got a title.
You got 2 years left with Drew Holiday. I think Chris Middleton has a year left on his deal. Giannis has 3 years left on his deal.
Oh, really?
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh.
They're good enough to win.
And what is by far the best NHL series for anybody curious? Knights beat up on the Oilers last night, take a 2-1 lead in that series going into Game 4. So 5-1 last night, Knights over Oilers. So just heads up there.
I have learned that I can keep up with 2 sports, but not 3.
Little bit of troubling news here. If you're a Braves fan, did you see this? Max Fried yesterday goes on the IL for the second time with a strained forearm. We'll see, but everybody's aware of what. Now, the first time was a hamstring injury. This is the first time it's been arm related, but they did not disclose how long he would be sidelined or whether he will undergo further testing as of yesterday.
I'm worried about Nico Horner right now. I mean, I feel for the Braves and Max Fried, but I'm sending all of my positive vibes to Nico Horner's left hamstring.
It's May 9th. The Cubs are not in their window.
No.
It's fine.
I know.
Stop. You're getting invested in like the second wild card spot in May.
I know. I'm aware.
That's what you're doing.
I know. I think if it had been anybody else on the other side of the field last night, I'd have been more focused on the NBA, but I'm not exactly a Cardinals fan.
Okay.
And I don't know what Wilson Contreras' beef is, really. I mean, the Cubs gave him years and years. The Cardinals gave him a month before they said, nope, this doesn't work. And then they're like, oh, well, no, the pitchers are all meeting with him.
He
and
was
we're
never
pouring
going to be
into
an
him.
elite catcher.
No.
Ever.
No, look, for a catcher, he's an elite offensive player. But for a catcher, he's subpar defensively.
They're 12-24. It's not Contreras' fault.
No. But if the pitchers wanted Wilson Contreras to be their catcher, he'd be the catcher.
Well, that's a good point.
The reason he's not catching is because the pitchers don't want to throw to him anymore. Now, if I'm the Cardinals, I figure out a way for C.B. Buckner to be the home plate umpire the rest of the year.
The Cardinals also, from a management standpoint, they absolutely could have gotten Sean Murphy and fixed this problem.
Yes.
Instead, he's been great in Atlanta.
God, that didn't happen. Whew. I was worried about it.
Instead,
because I was hoping the Cubs would do it, but I was worried the Cardinals would do it.
Instead, Atlanta just found one more rainbow in it. Whatever.
He's the best. That's the thing. The Cardinals do that whole, well, we run things differently. You frame pitches differently than everybody else? Precisely how does that work?
Oh, that we do things differently right now is the damn Braves, not the Cardinals.
Right. I mean, if I'm a baseball guy, I'm watching Alex Anthopoulos, not John Mozeliak.
Yeah.
I mean, Mozeliak hadn't exactly set the world on fire with some of his moves. Alex Anthopoulos, on the other hand, the Cats in Houston.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, yeah.
Hate them or whatever. But sure.
Yeah. Tampa. I'm paying attention to Tampa.
Still winning.
What you guys doing down there, right? I mean, I'm not, no offense to the Cardinals because the division sucks, but let's not act like they've been world beaters the last few years. They haven't. Yeah, they made a great trade for Arenado. It's a good move. Got Goldschmidt to agree to a deal that I'll never understand, but
I mean,
Sure.
Baltimore has the second best record in baseball, maybe third, and they are 6.5 back after 35 games.
Yeah.
Because the Rays are 29-7.
Yeah, they're off the charts. I mean, I'd be paying attention to Baltimore right now. Look at what they're doing. I mean, they putting together a nice young team. You watch them play much?
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Oh, I love them.
I mean, they're fun.
They're an AL team that is
that Braves Orioles series was pretty compelling stuff.
I mean, the Yankees are in last place in the AL East, and they're 19-17.
They're old.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, they're above 500 by a couple of games, but they're an old team. They're counting on a lot of old people.
The Braves are the only team over 500 in the NL East. Everybody else is under 500.
The Braves are a young team.
Somebody going to challenge, or are they going to walk?
No, they're going to walk. They're the best team in the National League, with the possible exception of whatever happens with San Diego and Los Angeles. Those are two teams that.
But you think they win the game, but the division by 10 games?
Yeah, for sure. Run away with it.
Pirates coming back to earth.
Yeah,
They're 3-7 in their last 10.
Yeah,
that was going to happen.
Yeah. Still a good story, and they may have built enough of a cushion to stay in the race because there's nobody. I mean, Milwaukee's the best team, I think, in the division, but they're not great. The Cubs are an average team. The Reds are bad. The Cardinals are better than what their record is, but they've dug themselves quite a hole. And their pitching's old. They're counting on some old arms.
Yeah. You have an informative basketball recruiting post up on Rebel Grove. Anybody check that out if they have not been over to the site since that was posted yesterday. Reminder, Ole Miss has no midweek games this week because of exams. They play Auburn starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday for that series, mostly because of Mother's Day, but nonetheless, the last 2 weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, as everybody plays on those dates. The final weekend because of Hoover starting on Tuesday of that following week.
Don't forget you can get the beautiful and healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself at corinthdental.com. And it's almost summer, as you know. So if you're looking for something to do for your kids in the Jackson area, think about Southern Traditions Farm. It's a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. Two sand rings, a grass ring, miles of wooded trails. A lot offered at Southern Traditions, including horseback riding offerings for if your child has some interest in equestrian and that kind of thing. Get in touch with them on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm.
Your two lines tonight, if you'd like to bet on some NBA, it is Celtics -7.5 at home against the Sixers. It's a big number. And then Nuggets back at home for Game 5, 5.5 over the Suns in that one. So 7.5 Celtics Sixers, 5.5 Nuggets Suns.
I kind of like Denver minus the 5.5. I think Denver's going to take out some frustration on the Suns tonight. Yeah. I think that's 7. I actually think both of these are 7 game
I think
series.
I do too. So anyway, back tomorrow for another show. RebelGrove.com in the meantime. We'll talk to you then.